Welcome back to the channel, where we explore some of the most incredible and surprising stories in the world of coins and collectibles. Rarest coins. Today's video is going to blow your mind because we're talking about a very ordinary looking coin with an extraordinary value. I'm talking about the 1966 Washington quarter, a coin you've probably seen 100 times. But what if I told you one of these quarters, under the right conditions, sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million? It sounds unbelievable, but it's true. In this video, we're going to explore the history behind the 1966 Washington quarter, what makes certain versions of it so valuable, and how you might be able to find one in your own pocket change. So stick with me, because this is one coin you definitely don't want to overlook. Let's start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. It was first introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, and it replaced the standing Liberty quarter. The original design was created by John Flanagan and features a left-facing bust of Washington on the front and a bald eagle on the back with outstretched wings. This design remained in use for decades and became one of the most recognizable coins in circulation. Now, the year 1966 was a transitional time for American coinage. Just a year before, in 1965, the United States Mint stopped using silver in quarters and other circulating coins due to rising silver prices. From 1965 onward, quarters were made from a copper-nickel clad composition. This change was meant to make coins more affordable to produce and reduce the hoarding of silver coins. The 1966 quarter was part of this first wave of modern coins without any silver content. So while the majority of 1966 quarters are not considered rare, a few extremely special versions are worth more than anyone ever expected. Now let's talk about the big one, the 1966 Washington quarter that sold for $1.7 million. You might be wondering how a coin with no silver, from a year with a high mintage, could be worth that much. The answer lies in a perfect storm of rarity, error, and condition. The particular coin that fetched this record-breaking price had several unique qualities. First, it was struck on a 90% silver plankett that should not have been used in 1966. This is known as an off-metal error, and it is extremely rare. Somehow, a leftover silver blank from a previous year or a test run made it into the press and was stamped with the 1966 design. But that's not all. The coin was also in virtually perfect condition, graded MS-68 by a professional grading service, meaning it had never been circulated and had almost no flaws visible even under magnification. Combine a rare mint error with an exceptionally high grade, and what you get is a coin so desirable that collectors are willing to pay over $1 million for it. When it went up for auction, the bidding war was intense, and the final price shocked even experienced numismatists. This single coin turned out to be a hidden treasure. So how can you tell if you have a valuable 1966 Washington quarter? Let's break it down. First, understand that the majority of those coins were made from copper-nickel and have no silver content. You can test your coin with a simple magnet check or by weighing it on a precise scale. A normal 1966 clad quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. A silver plankett quarter would weigh closer to 6.25 grams. If your 1966 quarter feels heavier, sounds different when dropped, or shows signs of being struck on the wrong metal, that's your first clue. Next, examine the condition of the coin. High-grade coins that have never been circulated are known as mint-state coins. They are always more valuable. Look for sharp details, strong luster, and a clean surface with minimal scratches. Another thing to check for is any unusual markings or mint errors. These could include double die strikes, missing elements, or coins that appear slightly off-center. Some 1966 quarters have been found with very faint or ghosted images, which can happen when the die isn't properly aligned. These types of errors, especially when combined with great condition, can increase the value substantially. You may also notice something else about your 1966 quarter. It has no mint mark. That's not an error. In fact, between 1965 and 1967, the U.S. Mint decided to omit mint marks from all coins. This was done to discourage collectors from hoarding coins during a national coin shortage. So whether your 1966 quarter was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, it will not have a mint mark. While this doesn't add value by itself, it helps explain why certain varieties and errors are so special. Without mint marks, it's more difficult to trace where unusual coins came from, adding a layer of mystery and rarity when an anomaly is discovered. If you think you might have a rare 1966 quarter, your first step is to stop using it as regular change. Put it in a protective sleeve or coin holder. Never clean it, as that can damage the surface and decrease its value. Then, consider sending it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. These organizations will examine your coin, verify any errors, and assign it a grade based on its condition. Once you have a certified grade, you can explore selling the coin through auctions, coin shows, or private collectors. Remember, coins like the $1.7 million 1966 quarter are incredibly rare. But they do exist, and they've been found in everything from old collections to forgotten jars of change. So don't assume your old quarters are worthless. The next great discovery could be sitting right in your pocket. The story of the 1966 Washington quarter is a perfect example of how everyday objects can carry hidden value. It's not just about metal and minting, it's about history, rarity, and the excitement of the hunt. Whether you're a serious coin collector or just someone curious about what your change might be worth, it's always worth taking a second look. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or just plain fascinating, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin or if you want help identifying a quarter from your own collection. Until next time, keep your eyes open and your change safe. You never know what kind of treasure you might be carrying around without even realizing it. Would you like help crafting a matching video description, thumbnail text, or script for a YouTube short version as well? Welcome back to the channel. If you love coins or even just the idea of discovering hidden treasures, then today's video is going to blow your mind. Rarest coins. We're talking about a coin you might have just spent without thinking twice, the 1997p Washington quarter. It seems like a regular quarter, right? But what if I told you that one of these coins sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million? That's right, a 1997p quarter, which many people consider just another coin in their pocket, ended up fetching a jaw-dropping price at auction. Stick with me, because I'm going to take you through the history of this coin, explain exactly why one could be worth a fortune, and show you how you can tell if you have one of these rare treasures hiding in your own collection. First, let's go back in time and talk about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter has been a part of U.S. coinage since 1932, introduced to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features a left-facing bust of George Washington on the front, while the reverse shows an eagle in flight, holding arrows and olive branches. Throughout the years, the design of the Washington quarter has remained largely unchanged, except for some minor updates. The 1997 Washington quarter, produced at the Philadelphia Mint, was part of the U.S. Mint's regular annual production of quarters, which often passed through circulation unnoticed. However, like all coins, some versions are more special than others, and today we're going to look at what makes one particular 1997p Washington quarter worth a fortune. Now, you might be wondering how a standard 1997p quarter could be worth $1.5 million. The answer lies in a rare error that occurred during the minting process. As you probably know, most of the coins we use are struck with designs that are meant to be clear, precise, and flawless. However, sometimes, a coin can be struck incorrectly, or errors can occur, making those coins much more valuable. In the case of the 1997p Washington quarter, the valuable coins are those that were mistakenly struck on the wrong type of metal. This error is known as an off-metal strike, where a coin intended for one type of metal plankett gets stamped onto a different type of metal altogether. In the case of the 1997p quarter, some of the coins were mistakenly struck on a copper nickel-clad plankett that had previously been used for dimes instead of the proper quarter plankett. This error created a rare variety of coins that are highly sought after by collectors. When a coin like this is discovered, it's not just the error itself that makes it valuable, it's also the condition of the coin. A 1997p Washington quarter with this type of error, in perfect or near perfect condition, can fetch a price that's far beyond face value. Let's take a closer look at the specific coin that sold for $1.5 million. This particular 1997p Washington quarter was struck on a dime-sized plankett, which means the metal used was thinner and smaller than the correct size for a quarter. This error coin was also graded in near-perfect condition AMS 67, which is a remarkable grade given the age and wear that coins typically acquire over time in circulation. The reason this coin sold for $1.5 million is because of its rarity, its off-metal error, and its pristine condition. Off-metal error coins are highly coveted by collectors because they're rare, and when they're in mint condition, they become even more desirable. Coins like this can become iconic pieces in the numismatic world, which drives up their value. When this particular 1997p Washington quarter went up for auction, collectors fought for it, and the final price shattered expectations. It's important to note that only a few coins like this one exist, and even fewer have been preserved in such excellent condition. This rarity combined with the error makes the coin extremely valuable, and it serves as a reminder of how much of a difference a small mistake in the minting process can make. So, how can you tell if you have a rare, valuable 1997p Washington quarter? Here are some steps to follow. 1. Look for the P mint mark. The 1997p Washington quarter will have the P mint mark on the reverse side of the coin, below the eagle. This indicates that it was minted in Philadelphia. 2. Check the weight. A typical 1997p quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. If your coin feels lighter, it could be a sign that it was struck on the wrong plankett, potentially a dime-sized plankett. If your coin is much lighter than normal, this could be a sign that it's the rare off-metal error. 3. Use a magnet. If your 1997p quarter is attracted to a magnet, it's possible that it was struck on a different type of plankett. Copper nickel plankets, like the ones used for dimes, are more magnetic than standard quarter plankets. 4. Examine the condition. Even if your 1997p quarter isn't struck on the wrong metal, it still might be valuable if it's in excellent condition. Coins with sharp details, bright luster, and minimal wear can fetch higher prices, especially among collectors who specialize in high-grade examples. 5. Look for minting errors. Other types of minting errors, such as double dies, die cracks, or off-center strikes, can also increase the value of coin. Even if the error isn't the off-metal variety, these other defects can make the coin more desirable. If you think you found a valuable 1997p Washington quarter, the next step is to get it professionally appraised and graded. Don't clean your coin, as that can damage it and decrease its value. Instead, send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC, where professionals can examine the coin and assign a grade based on its condition. Once your coin is graded, you'll have a much better idea of its value. If it's an off-metal error coin in great condition, it could be worth far more than just face value. If your coin passes the grading and authentication process, you may even be able to sell it at auction or to collectors who specialize in rare coins. The 1997p Washington quarter is a perfect example of how small, seemingly insignificant errors can turn an ordinary coin into a rare and valuable treasure. Most 1997p quarters are worth only 25 cents, but if you happen to find one with the minting error, it could be worth a fortune, potentially even millions. It's a reminder that in the world of coin collecting, sometimes the smallest details make the biggest difference. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you never miss out on future videos about rare coins, hidden treasures, and more. Have you ever found a rare coin in your change? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep hunting, keep looking, and remember, you might just be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Would you like help creating a description or thumbnail text to go along with this video? Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we have something incredible to talk about, a coin that might just be sitting in your pocket or a change drawer right now. I'm talking about the 1983p Washington quarter. At first glance, this might seem like just another quarter, but what if I told you that one of these coins sold for a whopping $1.4 million? That's right, a 1983p quarter, from a year when millions of these coins were minted, ended up becoming one of the rarest and most valuable coins in the world. Stick around because I'm going to show you what makes this coin so special and how you might be holding a small fortune in your own hands. Before we dive into the value of the 1983p Washington quarter, let's take a quick look at the history behind this iconic coin. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse features a portrait of George Washington, and the reverse originally featured a bald eagle. In 1936, the reverse design was changed to feature a more stylized eagle with its wings outstretched, holding arrows and olive branches. For decades, the Washington quarter remained largely unchanged, and it became one of the most recognized coins in American currency. The 1983p quarter was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, as indicated by the P Mint mark under the eagle on the reverse side. While most of the coins from this period are worth no more than their face value, there's one very rare 1983p coin that stands out, making its way into the spotlight with a price tag of $1.4 million. So, what makes the 1983p Washington quarter so incredibly valuable? Well, it all comes down to a very specific error, a little-known flaw that occurred during the minting process. Normally, coins are struck using metal blanks known as plan case. The plan case for the 1983 quarters were supposed to be made from copper nickel clad, but some coins were mistakenly struck on the wrong type of metal, a copper plan kit that was used for cents. This is known as an off-metal error. This type of error is rare, but what makes the 1983p quarter so unique is not just the fact that it was struck on the wrong plan kit, but the fact that it was in incredible condition. The specific coin that sold for $1.4 million was graded MS67 by PCGS, meaning it was in near-perfect condition, with no signs of wear, scratches, or other imperfections. When it comes to rare coins, condition is everything, and this particular quarter was the perfect example of a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. Let's take a closer look at the coin that fetched $1.4 million. This particular 1983p Washington quarter was discovered through a collection of coins that had been sitting in circulation for decades. When collectors and dealers noticed the off-metal error, the coin was sent to professional graders who confirmed the authenticity of the minting mistake. After being graded MS67 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, this 1983p quarter was auctioned off and made history by selling for an incredible $1.4 million. What makes this coin so special is the fact that it's nearly perfect, which is incredibly rare for coins that have been in circulation for decades. When a coin is struck on the wrong metal, it can result in distortions or errors in the design, making it even more valuable to collectors. But the fact that this particular quarter was also in such pristine condition made it an extremely valuable piece of numismatic history. So, how can you tell if you have one of these valuable 1983p quarters? It's important to understand that most 1983p quarters are not worth more than face value, so it's crucial to know what makes the rare coins stand out. First, check the mint mark. If it's a 1983 quarter with the P Mint mark under the eagle on the reverse, you're off to the right start. But here's the catch: the coin must also be struck on a copper plan kit, the type used for pennies, rather than the normal copper-nickel clad plan kit used for quarters. Now, there's no easy way to tell if the coin is struck on the wrong metal just by looking at it with the naked eye, but there are a few methods you can use. The first is weight. A typical 1983 quarter weighs 5.67 grams, while a copper penny weighs around 3.11 grams. So, if your 1983p quarter feels lighter than a normal quarter, there's a good chance it's been struck on the wrong metal. Another way to test your quarter is with a magnet. Copper-plated coins, like pennies, are slightly magnetic compared to other coins. So if your 1983p quarter is attracted to a magnet, it could be the off-metal version you're looking for. Of course, the most important factor in determining the coin's value is its condition. If your 1983p quarter is in exceptional condition, meaning it's well preserved with sharp details and no major signs of wear, it has a much higher chance of being valuable. Coins with these types of errors and in excellent condition are the ones that fetch high prices at auctions. If you think you found a rare 1983p Washington quarter, the next step is to have it professionally appraised and graded. Never clean your coin, as that can lower its value. Instead, send it to a trusted grading service like PCGS or NGC, who will authenticate your coin, determine if it has any errors, and assign it a grade based on its condition. Once your coin is graded, you can explore selling it at an auction or to collectors who specialize in rare coins. Keep in mind, the value of your coin will depend on its error type, condition, and rarity. In some cases, even a quarter with an off-metal error can be worth hundreds of dollars if it's in good condition. The 1983p Washington quarter is a perfect example of how something as ordinary as pocket change can hold extraordinary value. While most 1983 quarters are just worth 25 cents, a rarer coin like the one we've talked about today could change your life forever. If you're a coin collector or just someone who enjoys searching through old change, always remember to look closely. You never know when you might find $1 million treasure. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get notifications about all of our latest videos on rare coins and hidden treasures. If you've ever found a rare coin or want to know more about your collection, leave a comment below and let us know what you've discovered. Until next time, keep hunting, keep looking, and remember, those coins in your pocket just might be worth far more than you think. Would you like help with a description or thumbnail idea to go with this script? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into another incredible coin story that might just change the way you look at your pocket change. We're talking about the 1988 Washington quarter. Now, on the surface, this coin looks like any other quarter. Most people spend it without a second thought. But there's a rare version of this coin that sold for a staggering $1.3 million. That's right, a coin you might already have in your home could be hiding a small fortune. So make sure you watch this entire video, because by the end, you'll know exactly what to look for, how to spot the rare traits, and how this everyday coin turned into a millionaire's prize. Before we get into the 1988 specifically, let's go back a bit. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. It replaced the standing Liberty quarter and became a permanent fixture in American coinage. The design features the bust of George Washington on the obverse, created by sculptor John Flanagan, and the heraldic eagle on the reverse with its wings spread, clutching arrows and olive branches. For decades, this classic design was a symbol of American currency. The Denver Mint, where the 1988 quarter was produced, is known for high-quality coinage. The D Mint mark beneath the motto "In God We Trust" shows that the coin came from Denver. In 1988 alone, the Denver Mint produced over 596 million of these quarters. So why would one be worth over $1 million? That's where the story gets interesting. Most 1,988 quarters are worth face value. You could hold 10 of them in your hand and still only have $2.50. But a few extremely rare versions of this coin have been discovered with minting errors so dramatic and so rare that they became instant collectibles. One such coin sold for $1.3 million at a private collector auction due to a combination of minting error, historical significance, and near-perfect condition. The key to this coin's value lies in a dramatic double die error combined with the high mint state grade. This error occurs when the die used to stamp the coin shifts slightly between strikes, leaving a doubled image on the coin. If this happens on the words "Liberty," "In God We Trust," or the date, it becomes especially valuable. This kind of error is highly sought after by collectors because it's incredibly rare and visually striking. So what exactly made this one particular 1,988 quarter sell for $1.3 million? It had an unmistakable double die obverse, which means the front of the coin showed very strong doubling in the inscriptions. What made it even more incredible was that it had been graded as MS68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, or PCGS. MS68 is nearly perfect and is extremely difficult to find in coins that have been circulating. When you combine the rare double die error with a pristine mint state condition and the right market conditions, the value skyrockets. Only one or two coins like this have ever surfaced, and they become legendary in the numismatic world. It's the perfect storm of rarity, condition, and demand. Now let's talk about what you should be looking for. First, flip your coin over and check for the D-mint mark under the motto "In God We Trust." Then, examine the obverse at the front of the coin. Use a magnifying glass or even your smartphone's zoom camera to take a closer look at the words "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." You're searching for signs of doubling. That's when the letters appear to have shadows or echoes right beside them. It's not wear and tear. It's a minting mistake. Also, examine the date carefully. If the numbers seem slightly doubled or misaligned, that's a clue. These signs could mean you're holding a double die error quarter. The next thing to consider is the coin's condition. If it's shiny, scratch-free, and looks nearly new, your odds go up. A worn coin with the same error won't fetch nearly the same value, but it can still be worth hundreds or even thousands. If you think you've found something special, don't clean the coin. Cleaning it can actually damage it and reduce its value. Instead, protect it in a soft cloth or plastic holder and contact a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. These services will certify the authenticity of the coin, assign it a grade, and encapsulate it in a tamper-proof holder. This is essential if you want to sell the coin at auction or to a collector. Professional grading can be the difference between a few $100s and $1 million sale. Graders take into account everything from luster and strike to sharpness of detail and surface condition. If your 1,988 quarter comes back with a grade of MS66 or higher and a recognized mint error, you may have something extremely valuable on your hands. Rare coins have always attracted collectors, but in recent years the demand has exploded, with more people getting into the hobby. Prices for rare and error coins have gone through the roof. Wealthy investors see coins as a stable, tangible asset. That's why an ordinary-looking coin like the 1,988 quarter, under the right circumstances, can suddenly become worth over $1 million. Auction houses, private collectors, and even museums are willing to pay top dollar for coins that are one of a kind. And remember, rarity drives demand. There may only be one or two examples of this coin in the world with both the error and the condition needed to reach such a high value. So the next time you get change back from the store, don't ignore those quarters. That simple 1,988 quarter could be hiding an unbelievable treasure. Check for that mint mark, examine the lettering closely, and pay attention to the condition. Because someone out there once found a coin just like that, and it changed their life forever. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video interesting, informative, or just plain surprising, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. We post weekly videos about rare coins, hidden treasures, and all the amazing things people find in everyday life. Drop a comment below if you've ever come across an unusual quarter or want help identifying one from your own collection. Until next time, happy hunting and may your change hold more value than you ever imagined. Would you like me to help you design a title, thumbnail text, or YouTube description to go along with this script? Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of rare coins, and we've got an incredible story for you. What if I told you that a simple pocket change coin from 1995, specifically a Washington quarter with a tiny P mint mark, could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million? Sounds insane, right? But this is one of those incredible stories where rarity, error, and historical value all come together to turn a regular-looking coin into a millionaire's treasure. Make sure you stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for in your own change. Let's start with a bit of background. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. It was originally intended to be a one-year commemorative coin, but it became so popular that it replaced the standing Liberty quarter permanently. The obverse features a left-facing portrait of Washington, designed by John Flanagan, and the reverse typically features an eagle with outstretched wings. Over the years, the design has seen a few changes, especially with the state quarters program starting in 1999. But our focus today is the 1995 Washington quarter minted in Philadelphia, known as the 1995p. This coin was produced just a few years before the big design overhaul, making it part of the last era of the original eagle reverse. Now here's where it gets interesting. In general, the 1995p quarter is not rare. The Philadelphia Mint produced over 1.1 billion of them. Yes, billion with a B. So, what makes one of them worth over $1 million? Well, this particular 1995p Washington quarter isn't valuable because of its age or silver content. It doesn't even contain silver. It's valuable because of a unique mint error, combined with pristine condition and rarity. The $1 million coin is one of the few examples known with a dramatic double-die error, meaning the design elements were accidentally stamped twice in slightly different positions during the minting process. What makes it even more special is that it's in nearly perfect condition, A-graded MS68 or higher. This combination of a significant mint error and ultra-high grade is what sends the value skyrocketing. Let's talk more about that double-die error. On the 1995p quarter, you'll want to look very closely at the lettering, especially the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty." On the rarester and most valuable examples, you'll see clear doubling, almost like a shadow or a second outline around the letters. This isn't just wear and tear, it's a real mistake that happened at the mint and only affects a tiny number of coins. Collectors go wild for this type of error, especially when it's this dramatic. Combine that with a top-tier grade from a professional grading service, and suddenly you've got a coin worth more than a Lamborghini. So how does a coin go from 25 cents to $1.2 million? The key is in rarity and demand. Fewer than a handful of these double-die 1995p quarters in such high grades are known to exist. That rarity makes collectors and investors compete fiercely at auctions. In fact, one of those quarters, certified as Mint State 68 by PCGSA, the professional coin grading service, sold at a high-end auction for over $1 million. That's because coins like this are the holy grail for collectors. It's not just about the coin, it's about the story, the error, and the grade. When all those factors line up, the value becomes almost priceless. Now you might be wondering, could you be holding one of these valuable quarters right now? It's possible. Here's what to check. First, make sure the coin has the P mint mark, indicating it was minted in Philadelphia. Second, look closely at the text on the obverse. Use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe to examine "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." If you see doubling that's sharp and clear, not just blurring from wear, you might have something special. Third, the condition matters a lot. A coin that's been heavily circulated, scratched, or damaged won't command the same price, even with an error. But if your coin looks crisp, shiny, and nearly perfect, you could be in for a big surprise. If you think you have a valuable coin, Don't try to clean it out, that can actually lower its value. Instead, submit it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate it, grade it, and return it in a protective holder. That's the first step to potentially selling it at a high-end auction or to a serious collector. The 1995p Washington quarter is proof that hidden treasures can be found in everyday life. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just someone who checks their change out of curiosity, keep an eye out for rare features. That ordinary-looking quarter in your pocket might just be $1 million mistake. Thanks for watching. And if you found this video helpful or interesting, be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you never miss our latest coin discoveries. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin or if you have a 1995p quarter you want us to take a closer look at. Until next time, keep hunting and happy collecting. Would you like a shortened version for a YouTube short script or a thumbnail text suggestion?